I didn't say it would be easy, Neo.
In court with mom continue to consume alcohol. I have witnesses. I have prescription drug records. She's not in sobriety. She's not safe to be taking care of the children. And I told Mr. Stout the same thing I told Miss Dudley when I did contact her. Said the information that my client's given me is I would go down to the court under normal circumstances and request a temporary restraining order. The problem with that is I have an order in place that says that mom has no access, right? I can't come in and say, give me an order that says mom has no access when I have an order that says no access. By the way, I'm shocked it wasn't DWOP'd, but that's just legally kind of where it comes to me when he has me. So we wrote Miss Dudley and said, mom is still consuming alcohol. I have pictures of pills uploaded to my exhibits, pills left in baggies, pills in the toilet, pills all over the house. And I said, so we're enforcing the injunction. That's what it is. Otherwise, I would go down and get a TRO. Then they filed their application for protective order. The day after they filed their application for protective order, that's when we went to mediation and mom agreed to supervised visits, right? And then this morning, right, I guess based on this text message from the child, which doesn't even rise to, legally, I hate corporal punishment and we're in agreement to not do corporal punishment, period, the end, because my client denies even using corporal punishment. But even if you believe the affidavit, it doesn't rise to the level. And you have CPS taking no action, police taking no action, and you have the children's counselor here. So I think it's an end round. It doesn't, and just logistically think where that would leave you, right? There's a court order in place that says mom can't have access to the children, and they're asking for a court order that says dad can't have access to the children. And so that's the situation in which we find ourselves. I guess I'll end with where I started, which is we need to get to the 10th. This should have been set on the long docket to begin with. You've seen the text messages that are attached to my response. Yesterday, while signing an affidavit saying that these children are in danger, mom's texting dad saying, keep them until tennis camp, right? After signing an affidavit, she's texting a mutual friend saying, have Cole go pick up the kid's friend and drive them all to this. And then now this morning says these kids are in danger. So we need to get to the 10th. I do agree that these kids should see their mom. And I'll say it here, go outside of negotiations. I'll even say that once the kids get back from tennis camp, mom can see them if she tests in a manner that's not supervised. But and we'll do sober-link testing, by the way. I understand from counsel there's zero concerns about my client's alcohol consumption or drug usage, and we will still sober-link test if they want us to sober-link test. So we can have a possession schedule to get us to the 10th if mom would just test. But if not, then we just need to address it on the 10th. But the ex parte protective order is certainly not appropriate, particularly when we're here today for a hearing.
May I respond briefly, Your Honor?
Yes.
So first of all, we're not talking about just a text that Wright sent to mom that said dad hit me. We're talking about an affidavit from the head of school at Trinity Episcopal School saying we're concerned. He has made allegations that dad has hit mom and dad has hit brother, sister, and me. So that's number one. The other is this is a lot of noise and a lot of distraction surrounding her drug and alcohol abuse, talking about how many times she's been to treatment. We were candid about that in our application. She did struggle with alcohol and drug use prior to entering the manager clinic, which, as the court knows, is the foremost place to deal with grief and trauma and better understand those relationships. If the court has a concern about mom's safety under the circumstances, I think that the concern for the kids in dad's care is clear. You have the arrest affidavit. You have the pictures of her chin and of her busted lip. You have the pictures of, the bruising on the back of the little baby's diaper or training pants. If the court is concerned, though, and is persuaded by, again, this noise about a 6-year-old treatment center, I have her psychiatrist sitting next to me who has treated her for 18 years, who sees her once a month or twice a month. Since April has been seeing her once a month. And so if the court has concerns about safety with mom, we can assuage those. But again, I don't want to get too far away from what is the basis of the emergency protective order, which is the very clear and present risk of danger.
Okay. All right. Let me hear from Mr. Smith. If you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself, sir. Let me just swear you in, if you don't mind. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and tell me your relationship with the child and which one.
So I'm a therapist for Hollis and Wright Stout. I've seen Hollis a little bit longer than Wright. I don't have the exact dates in front of me, but I've seen them both for, approximately 2-ish years.
Okay.
And not counting the summer. Sorry, during the summer, usually they, when the travels and things like that, it's a bit hard to do Zoom with 8-9-year-olds. So yeah.
Sure. And so I don't know, Mr. Smith, have you read any of the filings by either of the parties relevant to today's hearings? As far as
just what I received yesterday and today. So I've read through them a little bit. So sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Without revealing anything in particular about your sessions, do you have concerns about the safety of these children in their father's care?
In father's care, just as of today, or just in the past of what? Sorry.
As of right now, based on
as of right now.
Today.
I mean, it's difficult to say. I'm sorry to make it say not a yes and no. It was hard, Wednesday when I saw the boys and, the story came up of what happened. So that does make me worry a bit, just for the fact of what, again, I don't know, I wasn't there, so I don't know the premise of how everything came to be. But that Wright said Dad hit me. So, I mean, he looked fine to me. They all made it to the session. Dad brought them. So that's hard to answer. So, sorry.
Okay.
I get more concerned, I guess, with the kids' confusion about everything that's happening. So I guess my concern more lies upon that, just the confusion of, their living situation. I know they're with grandma and grandpa, but just that they're, the living situation and whether or not they get to see mom and things of those nature. I don't know all the other stuff. I just get to hear it from from the kid's perspective. So it's not necessarily directed at Dad, but just, their confusion on what's happening and how that leads to their demeanor.
Okay. Let me just give the lawyers, I guess, do y'all have any questions for Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Okay. Just be brief. Go ahead.
Mr. Smith, you are a mandatory reporter, right? If you hear child abuse?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And after talking to the child, you did not make a CPS report, right?
No, sir.
Well, that was a point of order question. Is it right that you did not feel the need to contact Child Protective Services?
No, sir. Okay, I'll just leave it at that.
And I'm still saying it wrong. You did not contact Child Protective Services, correct?
Sorry, I did not contact CPS or Child Protective Services.
And the child did report, I think he was fighting with his brother when this incident happened. Is that right?
So that's hard because I think there's a couple, and I don't mean to say yes or no, or that'd be easier. I think there's a couple different narratives, I guess, because that was the one that he said, and he went through the story with me, but Dad was with him as well. So there was, I guess, a situation where he and brother were, fighting, and I don't know if they were roughhousing or whatnot, but he did tell me that Dad did hit him. So, but again,
go ahead.
Sorry, but I saw him physically, again, I'm not a CPS or a doctor in the fashion of asking him to show me things. But his, face looked fine. His arms looked fine. I think it was hard to kind of judge his spirits and the fact that, again, he was with Dad and this happened just the night before. And I can't imagine how hard it was for him and everybody involved with what the story was with the police coming at night and things like that. So sorry.
Well, that was going to be my next question. The police actually came and talked to him as well, right?
Yes, sir. That, from my understanding, they did.
Okay. And CPS has talked to him. Is that your understanding?
Yes, I don't remember exactly how I found that, how I was told that, but yes, that DPS, I guess I'm not 100% on that. I know that the police did speak to him, his brother, and everyone involved at the house, and that CPS was notified. Okay.
And they left, the police essentially left, and the child remained with dad, right?
That's my understanding, yes.
And for clarity, it was mom who called, Mrs. Stout, that called the police. Is that right? Is that your understanding?
That's my understanding from what I've heard, yes.
And then are you set up? Can you see the boys, continuously see the boys weekly?
I see them every Wednesday. I see usually Wright comes first at 9 o'clock and then Hollis comes second at 10 o'clock.
Okay. So they're set up for next Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm. As far as everything goes, yes.
Oh, and by the way, based on what the kid reported, the police did the same thing. I understand that you didn't see marks or anything on the child, but based on what the child reported to you, he reported that the police looked him all over his body as well. That's something that y'all are processing in the counseling session. Is that right?
Yes, he said something. He said that the police did speak to him and they did look at him. He didn't say all over his body, but just clear. But yeah, they did look at him.
Obviously, I would have more if there's a contested hearing.
Sure, that's fine. Let me give Ms. Dudley a chance if you have questions.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Smith, did I understand you to say that when you heard the story from Wright, Dad was present?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you had the opportunity this morning to read the affidavit from the head of school at Trinity Episcopal, where she detailed that Wright had come to school the next day and opened up a little bit more about what had happened?
I'm sorry, just a question. Was that part of the email you sent me?
Yes, not 30 minutes ago or so. The application for protective order. Have you had a chance to review that affidavit?
I mean, I went through it, but I didn't see exactly the page that had that. I'm sorry. It was on my phone. So I'm sorry. I know I probably missed it.
No problem. Would the court allow me to? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Or I believe that it happened. Wright is I believe Wright is a truthful person, and I believe that if that's what happened, that it did. I mean,
you believe that he is a truthful person, and if he said it happened.
I mean, yes. I mean, again, I wasn't there, but yeah, I know him to be a truthful young person, young man.
Okay. May I read you the short affidavit that Jennifer Morgan, the head of school, wrote? Is that okay with you, Your Honor?
Yeah, if you would just be brief. I think we only have a few minutes left here.
Yes, ma'am. So it says, I'm Jennifer Morgan. I'm the head of school at Trinity Episcopal School here in Austin. And Mr. Smith, are you on your phone now? That's why I didn't screen share it, because I didn't think you'd be able to see it. Is it okay if I read it to you?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I'm on my phone, but yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm the head of school at Trinity Episcopal School here in Austin, where two of the party's children, Hollis and Wright, currently attend school. On Tuesday, May 21st, Wright's third grade teacher noticed a knife and survival kit containing a small axe-like tool in Wright's backpack when they were packing up the classroom. When visiting with school administrators, Wright got very emotional and shared that he didn't want to make a call home to Dad. He didn't want to get in trouble because he feared Dad would hit him. He shared that Dad hits Mom a lot, and he also hits Hollis. Wright also shared that Dad hits him when Wright gets in trouble or when he breaks things like a glass. When pressed a little further, Wright shared Dad hits him in the back and in the back of the head. Wright reports this has happened since they have been staying at Marble Falls. As mandatory reporters, the school called Child Protective Services. The items were removed from the child's backpack and remain at the school for safekeeping. So then, taking your testimony that Wright it tells the truth and that you believe the veracity of those statements, does that give you some concern now about Wright and Dad's care?
I mean, I guess I would have to say yes. I mean,
that's
it
all
does concern me that.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Ms. Dudley, was there a police report in connection with this visit to the home?
I believe there was a police report. I've not been able to obtain it yet because it's still in processing. It just happened, I think, night before last.
But there weren't any charges or arrests made.
He was not arrested on that occasion, no.
Okay. Well, I do not like these facts or allegations really on either side. And it puts the court in a very difficult position because, you know, my ultimate goal is to look out for the child or children involved in this situation. And normally, in the face of an allegation like this, I would be very quick to grant the relief requested. However, the facts on the other side are very unfavorable to the applicant, and the conditions that have been put in place are in place for reasons that are also related to the safety and health and welfare of the children. So,
and to that end, Your Honor, would you like to speak with the psychiatrist that can give you a more current picture of her mental health and drug and alcohol use? Because your point is well taken, Your Honor. Absolutely. I just want you to have more current information because that absolutely was a concern 6 years ago. But if the court's concerned about it now, I want you to have some current info.
I have a lot to say about that if we're arguing.
No, well, y'all are out of time. So this is a short, non-evidentiary hearing where the court looks at the allegations and makes the best decision based on what I can do. Y'all need a hearing on the long docket, or you need to fully vet these issues on both sides. I understand your position is whatever, rehab is in the past, she's fine now, but those conditions are in place. And as far as I know, they may never be removed. I mean, I don't know. And I don't have the time to look into those issues today. The fact that CPS and the police department have already looked into this situation and have left the child with their father, you know, those are facts that, you know, are in front of the court. And I don't think I'm not going to grant the protective order application based on what I have heard. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
My client is asking if she can be heard, Your Honor.
I have my client with me as well. He has a lot to say as well. We're still on the docket. We're still on standby.
Yeah, I have many other protective orders and TROs that have come in only the last hour in which I've been in court on this hearing and on another. And so y'all have expended your time. So no, I can't give any additional time. And
No, we can't.
So
They're not saying anything.
that's the ruling of the court. And y'all are free to confer to see whatever agreements can be reached. I hope you are reached on the afternoon docket later today, but there's no emergency relief that the court is going to grant.
Okay, well,
Are we excused?
Yes, you're excused.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.